Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock.
My name is Danny.
And we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Hope you got some pep in your step, all that fun stuff. I'm trying to make Danny smile and laugh all at the same time, but it's he's being staunch right now. There, I got him to laugh. All right.
It's so difficult. It's so difficult to make me laugh. You're a true professional, sir.
You know, sometimes you gotta wrench it out like a can of corn. I don't know. One kernel at a time. It's been a long day. Yes, it has. Agreed. I feel like it's been a good day, but it has been very long. That is for sure. And it's starting to warm up. Hopefully it's warming up in your area. You said that it's warming up where you're at, so that's a good thing.
It was 85 for like 3 or 4 days in a row last week.
Yeah, and then you got snow.
And snowed. Yeah, it was amazing. I woke up, I think it was Saturday. Must have been Saturday. I got up Saturday morning and it's so bright outside. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, the sun's coming up earlier and earlier. Spring's here. So I opened the curtains. No, it's a blanket of snow. It had to be at least 2 inches. And it was just beautiful. It was hilarious. And of course, all of our bulbs had already started coming up, our garlic and our flowers and all that stuff. And everybody said, this is unusual. It shouldn't get, we're not used to it getting this warm this early.
Yeah.
We had flood warnings like for 3-4 days in a row because, again, it's getting really hot and everything's melting suddenly instead of slowly.
Right.
But yeah, we got back down in the cold weather, so we're back where we need to be. It's almost 50 today.
Yeah. Well, I saw out west, like our brother into the northwest.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting whacked with snow out there, and I was just like, oh, that does not sound like fun at all. Yeah, they were getting it good. And I was like, oh gosh, like it's one of the reasons I don't want to live out that way, because I like snow, but I don't like snow, if you know what I mean.
I love snow.
You're a unique gentleman then.
That's very true. But yeah, we were at an art auction. This isn't a thing we've ever done before, but it was put on by the GSA at UWSP, so at the university, and it was for the Trevor Project.
Well, I don't know what that is.
If you've heard of that. It's basically a nonprofit that works towards really more the legislation and what have you, but it really works. It's for teen suicide prevention, and more specifically teens in the LGBTQIA plus community.
Okay.
Because the things that a lot of times legislation comes into place and it's just so damaging to these kids that they're a big advocate and a big help. So a lot of the artists at the school and artists in the area did like paintings, and one guy painted D&D minis actually, which I bid on, didn't get. But just a lot of different artwork and art forms and knitting even, and some, just some very natural type stuff too. And it was really cool because it was all for, the Trevor Project to try to get, donations and what have you for them. So our anniversary went Saturday, and our anniversary was Sunday. So we basically said, for our anniversary, we're going to go and spend about $200. And we didn't, which I'm glad. But we had it set, we just didn't win the silent auction that we went for. Yeah. But I was, of course, met new people, met a really cool couple. It's an interesting, to find other very progressive, like-minded people here in rural Wisconsin. And the lady sent me a message, I think Monday, which is just after the snow. And it was whatever day it was after the snow. And she said, happy Monday. I saw a little bit of blue sky today. And I said, yeah, but it was beautiful this morning, the snow and everything. I love it. The stillness, just how everything's like just coated and framed and bordered by snow. And you can even a chain link fence looks so very different when it's got snow blown onto it. And her response was, really? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
The perspective of a Southerner in the northern lands.
This is amazing. And she's like, well, I am very happy for you then. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm happy for you. Spring is coming. I mean, it's just going to be another couple of weeks at the most, and all the snow is gone again today. So, a day later, yeah, I think it's just the best part of snow. It was pretty. The streets weren't covered. It's great.
Way to bring new perspective into someone's life when they're just like, this is a dreary day.
How can you not love the stillness and I don't know. I can understand why you can't love snow. Why you can not love snow, I should say.
You're just throwing snow curveballs at people. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's my job.
Well, that sounds like fun. So the Trevor Project, is that a national nonprofit?
Yep.
That's awesome. I'll make sure to put their information in the show notes and for people to check that out, because that's important. And and we are coming to the end of April and getting ready to jump into to May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. So quite poignant that would come up, because I feel like that's something that is always a conversation within our organization. I feel like we've done a really good job of creating a very safe space for people to be able to talk about what's going on with them and getting just support from other dads and the mental health check-ins that you kicked off almost 2 years ago almost now?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yeah. Have been super helpful. I actually went to my first one this past week. Crazy that it took this long for me to do that, but
no, not at all.
No,
it's absolutely something that a lot of people don't realize how much they need it. And we say it all the time, if as a dad, as a man, you need a mentor and a men's group.
True.
Right.
We do say that. Yes.
And that's part of our mantra, for lack of a better term. And a part of a support network, a support group, is being that men's group, but it's also something that you don't really go to until you need it. I mean, I have a lot of guys that have been there since the very beginning, and they're there quite regularly. And I mean, we talk to each other at least once a week, and it's like the dad lounge in that way. Yeah. Because this is our group. This is our community, But on the other side, a lot of times, I mean, honestly, a lot of times people just need to come in and just drop it all. Just they take a deep inhale and they just go, and it's their kids and it's their, their house, it's their partner, it's whatever it might be. But not having anybody to talk to is a real, well, one, it's one of the main reasons why we started this, but two, it's one of the biggest problems that we find when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
And especially as an at-home dad, because you're so isolated, we've talked about it in the past, but I think everybody realizes that when you partner up with somebody, you go from being single to being a couple, you lose a lot of friends.
Yeah.
It just happens. And that's normal. And it's just part of the life. And then once you have kids, you lose more friends because again, you have people that may be partnered up, but don't have children yet. And you really are living a different life.
Yeah.
And then that third thing for us is being an at-home dad. And once you've hit all three of those things as an at-home dad, you find yourself, I think we've all found ourselves completely alone, and you're just like, wow, okay. So I'm going to have to see if I can get in one of the mom groups locally, and I'm going to see if I can do this or that. And fortunately, a lot of the guys do find the network and what have you, but it's that isolation that's so difficult. And bringing it back to May being Mental Health Awareness Month, isolation is one of the first steps for a lot of people to depression.
Right.
And that, again, is a time when you are benefited by having a dad's group, a men's group, a support network.
Yeah.
Where you can fall back on and just say, look, I have an infant. I haven't slept in 7 weeks, I don't know, and I'm covered in dirty diapers, and this is just the worst thing that I've ever experienced. And I love my child, but I really am even second guessing if I should have had a kid.
I feel like I'm in the 4th phase though. Like you're talking about there are 3. I feel like I've moved into the 4th phase, and there's a few other dads who I've connected with that are in that same spot where you're going from being a stay-at-home dad to now having either a part-time or a full-time job and trying to juggle that with also just like everything else. Yeah. And for me, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you have to be very vocal with the, with your spouse on where you are. And I mean, we've had Corey on here before and talked with her, and she's very supportive of the things that I do and that kind of thing. But that's not the case with all dads. And like I was talking with a dad just recently, today actually, who was texting me asking me about like, hey, how are you, what are you doing with your kids for the summer? How does that look for your family, that kind of thing. And I was asking them like, hey, like, why are you asking me this? I'm kind of curious, and got into a whole conversation about the juggling of work and family and life. And they were saying that their spouse takes issue to when they go and pursue the thing that they're trying to do on top of being an at-home dad. And you see this imbalance of support, and it's like, it's like I'm here to listen, and sometimes I don't have anything to say back. I just, it's just, sometimes people just need to get it off their chest or whatever. But it's just one of those pieces to it, is the fact that like there's a lot of conversation, just like a lot of conversation when you go into being an at-home dad. There's just as much, if not more, conversation when you step out of that, step kind of out, but in that role. Like I feel like I'm like straddling this fence, honestly, and it's a picket fence. So sometimes like, it's not
little pokey.
Yeah, little pokey. And so there are times where it's like, I'm doing all the same things that I did when I'm an at-home dad. Plus I'm also doing all these work things, and it can get a little frustrating, and just
Yeah.
make things hard. And so, um, I, for me, like, I just was like, I just had to be as vocal as possible with my wife about, like, these are the things that are going on. Like, we got to
Hmm.
change some things up, or I need you to know that, like, I feel like I'm doing all the chores and all the kids stuff. And I get it. Like, you're busy too, but, you know, we decided to move into this new avenue where we're dual workers plus parents. And that's a
Hmm.
whole new role because we haven't really been in that. And when we were in it, it was when the kids were little, and now they're big and they're loud and they move around everywhere, much more than a baby. So, but it's one of those deals where I don't know. I feel like, in the case of the person I was talking to, it's one of those deals where it's like you almost have to sit down and just be like, "Hey, spouse, like, I know you're frustrated with the fact that I'm gonna go do this thing during what you would consider to be family time, but
Hmm.
we decided that this is what's going on with our family. So I need to know
Right.
that, you're supporting me, and that I don't need to feel guilty for going and doing this thing that's also part of our family life."
Hmm.
So, and that can be a difficult thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like so many things that we do, whether it's the things that we talked about, but also like switching back to the next part of it, from going to having kids. And can you imagine when you first have kids and then like one of your single friends comes up like, hey, you want to go out and, do whatever we would normally do, 3 years ago? And the idea of it, oh, yeah, 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 let's go, I don't know, have some beers and play some golf or whatever.
Right.
Maybe you could do it. A lot of the stuff that you could do, though, would be too demanding because you're tired and you got kids to take care of. You got so many things going on. And I think
Right.
that's a big indicator, too, for like you were talking for your situation when you've gone from being the at-home parent full time to looking to changing your venue up. Okay, so I'm going to get them in school and they'll be handling that, and then I'm going to go and do this thing that I want to do. And it's not only for you, it is for the family, but moving back from having a full-time a parent at home full time to having both parents working, like you said, communication is absolutely necessary. You've got to be able to one be on the same page when you start out,
Yeah.
but most especially as you're going along, a week later, a month later, 6 months later, to be able to say, okay, this is not working like I thought it would,
Right.
or to be able to tell your spouse, your partner, this isn't working like I thought it would. I don't know. I just figured you could do this, and you would be doing all the dishes, and I'm still doing the dishes. Or whatever it might be. But that communication is so very valuable.
Right. Oh, yeah, and that bears into your mental health, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because it will grind you into a powder if you either one, like, sit on it and just keep bottling it up, and
Mm-hmm.
don't talk to anybody about it, and then it just explodes, or you just hold animosity and, like, resentment towards your partner, and that doesn't help either. So definitely,
Yeah.
like, it's just it's not good, like, to not talk it out, and no one enjoys that. It's not fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'll just take it back to, like, it's, iron sharpening iron. Like, let's just be honest. Like, I mean, you're both in a place where, you're doing all these different things, and yeah, I mean, you got to figure out a way to make it work, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be balanced, because if it's imbalanced, then you've got, one person's happy, one person's sad, or maybe both people are sad and neither one of them wants to speak up and say anything about it, and so they each think the other person is in a good place, and it's just a complete mess. And
Yeah.
so you have to take that time to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how, things were recently with me, because I was realizing that, like, I was, like, in a place where I've enjoyed the dad lounge for the past 3 years. It's been great for me. but at the same time, like I'm also trying to figure out how to like hang out with the local dads here. And so for myself, I was like, like there's other guys that can do other things, they can take over, hosting the dad lounge and stuff. And one of those guys is Arvis. Arvis has done a great job of basically taking on the mantle of the dad lounge, and Philip Fry, like along with him, has done an awesome job with it. And so I just was like, hey, you guys, like if you got the bandwidth for it, I'd love for you guys to just take it on. And so they're doing that, which is really cool. Which then opens up the ability for me to be able to have a little more flexibility in my schedule with some things. And honestly, like they've done such a great job just promoting it to other guys without any prompting and all. Like they're just so passionate about it, and I love
That's
that.
it. Yeah, they love it, and they just love talking about it. So
exactly. Yeah. So just being able to go to my wife and just be like, hey, like this is what's going to happen. Like I'm going to step away from this, and I'm going to step into this, and try to do a regular hangout with some of the local dads, which she's trying to regularly hang out with one of her mom friends on a regular basis. So it kind of the give and take of it all. It's like, all right, you're getting a night out. I'm getting a night out. They're not work related because we both also have work related nights out as well, with things, but just to have that time with friends is so important. So, that it's just one of those deals where it's like, if you don't speak up, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. To be the communication again is 100%. And I'll say that's a big reason too, for me, that I started Dad's Gotta Talk. We started Dad's Gotta Talk, and have a regular support group, is because a lot of times there are things that I want to say that my wife, my partner, does not get. She wants to, she tries to, she wants to be understanding, but realistically, I don't think anyone can understand this job unless they've done it.
Yeah.
And not for like just a week or two. I mean, having several months under your belt, really, you get to a point where you would be, I think, considered a quote unquote professional, for lack of a better word. You've committed to this and you've done it, and you felt it drain out so much of what used to be your youth and life and energy. And being able to talk to somebody else and say, I mean, you don't even have to say much. Just say, man, my kids, I told them not to lick the dog, and they just keep doing it. Just walk up to them and the dog licks them, and they lick the dog on the face and the nose. And it's just and little things like that, one, you have to be a parent to understand, but two, more importantly, someone that stays home fairly regularly and is with the kids often enough that you get all of these weird little things that kids do.
Right.
And Dad's Gotta Talk is kind of set up with that vein of understanding that, yeah, we get it. Kids are amazing, incredible. Love my kids, but it's relentless, and it's sometimes awful, and it's heartbreaking, and it's mean, and it's just so many other things that kids can bring to your life that you really don't know how to say to someone else who hasn't been there.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and even if it's just, for any type of mental health thing, whether it's just some little problems you have, like, I just have too many dirty dishes. I cannot stand all the dirty dishes. And you need someone to say that to people that really struggle to even get out of bed every day. And this is a place where, granted, there's some things a therapist is way, way more a better choice for, but a lot of times we just need to sit with someone, virtually in this case, and just drop it all on them and have them look at us, and we know they mean it when they say, oh man, I understand. And it's really important, I feel, for your mental health.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I completely agree to that. I feel like that's been a space that many of us have been in, especially like, I have done 16 loads of laundry this past 2 days.
Right.
And,
And I'm still going. I've
still
cleaned
going.
9, but I've only folded 1.
Yeah. I folded all the laundry and then I looked in the mirror and went, crap. I have laundry on me.
I've had folded stacks of laundry because I'll put it on the big coffee table in the living room so the kids can come and get it and take it to their drawers as they do it themselves, that the kids just knock over accidentally. And I'm like, come on. Or they go to pick them up, especially the little kids, and they're unfolding them. Don't pick it up one, but no, take the whole stack. Take the whole stack and just do whatever you need to do in your room, in your dresser, but don't dump these clean clothes all over the dirty floor.
You're giving me PTSD from being in naval boot camp right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was the laundry PO, and you do laundry for the entire division, and oh my gosh, like it's a lot of laundry. So, and I got to the point where I would fold it for everybody as well. So just waste more time on having to do other things. And yeah, you get some people that like, they bump into the bed that it's all sitting on, and next thing you know, it like all crashes over. You're like, are you kidding me? Like, where's my sock with quarters in it right now? You're about to get it, dude.
Right. I need a bar of soap and a sock.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I definitely feel that for sure. So the other thing with mental health though as well is just like trying to find things to do to kind of give you that break and whatnot. And the thing with me is, and I'm excited because it's warming up, but I can do it inside as well. But my motivation is lacking on the part of doing it inside versus going outside and doing it. But for me, it's going out and bicycling. And so now that it's warm, I'm hoping to be able to do that more frequently. Actually, Corey the other day, she knew I needed to have a bit of a time away type of thing, and she knows that riding my bike is one of those things that I yearn to do. And so she had like my jersey all sitting out on my office chair, and I walked in and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I thought it was going to be nice today, so I sat this out here so that maybe you would go riding. But she's like, I see now that the weather is just total crap, and that's not going to happen. I'm like, well, the sentiment was there. I appreciate that.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And she recognizes the need, which is fantastic.
Right.
So
that's one of those deals where it's like, all right, yeah, I would have liked to have done that. Luckily, it's going to be warmer later this week, so let's see if I get out there at that point. But it was like I had nothing else going on that day, so it would have been perfect. But yeah, I mean, so that's getting out, getting active, getting back into something that maybe you haven't done in a while. Those are all definitely great ways to break up things and help add some positivity into your mental health for sure.
Get your vitamin D as well, which is very, very important. It's really surprising the number of people that I've talked to that end up with issues, and then like, then I went and had my doctor check it, and I was low in vitamin D. Like, especially in Wisconsin or in probably other states in the north. That's just very, very dark a lot of the year.
Yeah.
And you get that, like you said, the weather just kind of drains on you. So taking every opportunity to get out and move and do something preferably that you enjoy, like for you, biking is like your thing. I'm not sure I could handle riding a bike right now. I don't think I've got the seat muscles. Really, I feel like if it would hurt me. I feel like it would be definitely a learning curve, so to speak. But we got the kids' bikes out, and you can tell that it was nearly springtime because it was probably 8:30 and the sun's starting to really go down. It's getting dark, and there's still kids running all over the neighborhood screaming at each other and stuff. And that really, springtime is of course that time of rebirth, and everybody gets up and gets moving, starts doing all these new things. And a part of that for us is getting our kids out to do those things, which also means that we're going to need to get out there and do those things.
Right.
Especially for people with younger kids who, if they're not in management like you and I, and they, have to be with their kid all day and watch them and, keep them from doing all the things. The ability to take them to anywhere you're going, whatever you want to do, take the kid. Now, some things aren't going to work out well, but like if you want to go biking, I know so many dads that go biking with their kids.
Oh
And
yeah.
they have either a little trailer basket thing behind them or actually the pedal helper that the little kid can actually help you pedal. Although I don't know
Yeah,
if
for the
helping is,
for the bigger kids, yeah.
yeah. And it's amazing how much you can do with your kids. And a
Mhm.
lot of it starts right now. This is a great week to start that hobby, whatever
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah, definitely the carrier behind where, you can, here's some stuffies and here's some toys to play with and
Mhm.
whatnot. And it's like you get riding, and next thing you know, you look back and they're conked out, and you're like, all right, sweet, I can go another few miles. This is
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
So,
And they love it more than we can.
oh,
When they
sure.
just love that, wow, went out and did this. And they don't have any preconceived notion about what bike rides are.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't, if they like it or if they hate it. They don't have any idea. They're just going to go, I'm going to go out with dad.
Hmm.
And boom, hopefully they love it and pick up the habit.
Yeah.
Someday you'll pass your bike down to them when you get another one.
Yeah. Hopefully. Who
Here,
knows?
buddy, this is your new bike. Dad, it's your old bike. Yeah, but it's new to you.
See, I would be the smart aleck, be like, it's not new to me because I seen it from behind for so long. Might be a new seat.
Well, I did want to talk a little bit tonight about, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, hashtag break the stigma, by the way.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of the larger organizations are, of course, putting out, whether it's like NAMI or even GSA we talked about earlier, but a lot of the organizations are making sure to make a point that this month they're talking about these things. And the reason why men's mental health is really big for a lot of these companies and organizations, I should say, is because of the suicide rate.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get very deep into it, but the reality of it is that men are much more likely than women to end up ending their lives through suicide. And it's a very real problem that we have in the world right now because of the way we've taught men to not talk about their feelings, to hold it in and just sit on it, and eventually it breaks you, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to talk about it for too much because it is something that can trigger a lot of people, and it is a subject that a lot of times people that aren't affected by it or involved in it don't really want to think about. But I do want to say that we do have the national hotline for it, 988, and to make sure that everybody's aware that that exists, just in case if you're at a spot where you're thinking about harming yourself, call them. Just make a call. Just tell them what you're wanting to do, and just talk. And it's amazing how helpful that can be, especially when you're at what would probably be the worst situation in your personal life in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I've been there. In my past. So, and that number wasn't around at that time. So that
Mhm.
was, yeah, I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, I would say that I'm very happy that there's actually a much easier number and way to get in touch with people,
Mhm.
to talk with somebody about it, because it's not been easy for others, and that's one of the reasons that we've lost so many, honestly. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that they were able to finally get a 3-digit number that's easy to remember and easy to use. So
Yeah.
hopefully people
And
take advantage of it.
before we end up for the or finish up for the evening, I do want to say, just to relate some of my personal experience, I do have a semicolon tattooed on my arm, and it's the only tattoo that I have. And I was in my late 40s, I think, or 50 even, before I got a tattoo, because I never found anything I wanted to have on my body forever. But it's a semicolon because there's a kind of a national thing that a semicolon is where a writer starts a sentence and he could have stopped the sentence at that point, but decides to keep going, add more information, keep it going. And it's kind of like the story of people who, like myself, who have gotten to the point where they were about to end their life. And whatever reason it was, they decided to keep going. And the semicolon is a very powerful symbol for that for me. And again, it doesn't matter what the reason was. The reasons, I mean, it could be anything. Well, I thought I should probably be wearing clown shoes today, or something just completely out of it doesn't matter. That you didn't do it is the biggest thing. And that's the thing that the semicolon reminds me of. And that's why I had it tattooed where it's on my forearm, where I see it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
No. Just the awareness is there, and that there's so many better things you can do, so many options you can explore, no matter how bad things are getting. So take those options first, find everything else.
Definitely. That's a tattoo that I've been putting off getting for myself, honestly. I'm at the point where I'm definitely ready to get it. It's more along the lines of just walking in and doing it. So, but yeah, it's one of the things that I've been thinking about more over the past year. And I really want to be able to get, so that one, it helps remind me of where I've been and where I'm going. But at the same time too, like, helps to let others know that they're not alone, and they're not the only one that have going through and have gone through hard times. So
and again, break the stigma, #break the stigma. The fact that people can't talk about it because of how they feel they will be judged, or how their words will be taken, where, and again, we're not going to talk about it here tonight, but I can talk about suicide without even flinching, someone else's or my own. It's a part of who we are. And the fact that we can reach that point, and it's so common for it to happen, we should make it just as open and common and accessible to be able to tell someone, I was thinking about this, thinking about hurting myself, and thinking about I don't need to be here anymore. Because if we make it to the point where people can talk about it, and that's why, again, Dad's got to talk. That's what we're there for. So you can go to a place, you can talk about it, and then you can process why you're feeling that way and how you're feeling and what you need to do with it, and basically find an alternative to suicide.
Yeah, definitely.
Very important.
Well, I think we'll be talking about this some more as the weeks go on too. I know I'd like to try to touch on some different subjects within that. I thought it would be great too, maybe to get a couple of other dads in, to give them the opportunity to talk about it maybe a little bit as well. Maybe a little round table type discussion.
And hopefully we can get together with a couple of the dads about our children's mental health.
Yes.
Because it is, granted, something we should all be talking about, but it is something we are training our children every day how to act and react about their mental health. And that's, as being dads first, that's more important even sometimes than our own mental health.
Yeah.
In some ways.
So, definitely.
Yeah. Lots of big things for May. Not next week. Got little things next week.
Yeah, no.
Little
next week,
beer or something. Some guy, I don't know. We met Joe.
Yeah, some guy. He's a little obsessed with beer. That's for
beer,
sure.
And I think he's got a new job or something with Dad's Move. I don't know. We'll find out.
That guy's got.
He's always busy.
It's always something.
He was in like Belize a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, but I want to go to Belize so bad.
Who is this? I don't know who is this guy really.
International man of leisure, evidently.
That's what it is. So we'll see. We'll talk to him next week and see how things are going. In the meantime, though, anybody who's listening to this, if there is something that you'd like to reach out to us about, you want to talk about something that's going on, there is the Dad Talks that you can get involved with. You can also even just shoot us a message and chat with us through through Instagram or through our email, podcast@athomedad.org. But don't sit quietly. Speak out. Know that there are people that want to listen, and we might not have an answer for you, but we have an ear for you.
Mhm.
And honestly, like that can be just as helpful. And then also too, if you're at a place where you feel like, you're going to either harm yourself or harm others, then definitely go and call the number 989. Is that right? I said
988.
988. Sorry.
Mhm.
Call the number 988 to speak with somebody that can talk with you and see what else can be done to help you out. So
In the U.S. only.
in
Make
the
sure
US
we say
only.
that.
Yeah, no, that's good too. Good to
International,
know.
you have your own stuff.
Yeah, but we'll stop there for the episode, and we'll come back next week and talk with you about the beer share. So hope you all have a good one, and talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.